الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وصحبه أجمعين. Thank you for coming back so we can resume the session. We've got a few more minutes, probably just got about 40 minutes left, and I will try to touch on some important points before we finish, because we only managed to complete the first ayah of Surah Al-Fatiha. And you can understand how intense the Quran is when we talk about Quran and we try to explain each word Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed to us. To continue now, does anybody know of heard the word Tawheed before? Tawheed, what does it mean? Oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Have you ever heard different types of Tawheed? What are the different types? 3, 6, 7?
3.
Only 3. What are the 3? Tawheed Rububiyyah, Tawheed Uluhiyyah, and Tawheed Asma'i wa Sifati. Tawheed Rububiyyah refers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being the master of everything. Did it sound like we touched on that? Being the master who manages everything, he administrates everything. Yeah, Tawheed Rububiyyah. Tawheed Uluhiyyah, when we talk our ibadah, refers to the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only for Him. And Tawheed Asma'i wa Sifati talks about the names and qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We touched on that briefly, isn't it? See, Surah Al-Fatiha contains all of these, but we continue now with some of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ar-Rahman And Ar-Raheem. That's the next ayah. Ar-Rahman. Anybody knows where this word comes from? What does it mean? It is the Ar-Rahman And Ar-Raheem. What does that mean in English? What does it mean in English? Ar-Rahman And Ar-Raheem. What's the meaning of Ar-Rahman? Sorry? What? Merciful. And what's the meaning of Ar-Rahim? What's the difference? Yeah.
The difference is Ar-Rahman refers to Allah being merciful by His nature, and Ar-Rahim is Allah being merciful in His action.
Okay. But if you look at the English, you know, the beneficent, the merciful, it means the same thing. But the words that I use in Arabic are two different words. Can you see that? Ar-Rahman, Ar-Raheem. I just want to give you an origin of these words in itself. There is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that speaks, Ana Rahman, that I am the beneficent one, the merciful one. Wa anti Rahim. You know what the Rahim means? Rahim means the womb of the mother. That's where we all came from. Womb of the mother should have been the most secure place for us. You know that? And the most merciful place for us. Because we started off like a drop of water. You know that? And there is life in it. And you want that life to be sustained continuously until it's fully developed. And a little shake or harassment can destroy the whole process. So that's what's referred to Ar-Rahim. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ana Rahman, that I am the beneficent. Wa anti Rahim, and you are the womb. Shaqqaqtu ismaka min ismi, that I have given the name to Rahim because it's taken from my name, Ar-Rahman. Because Ar-Rahman is the beneficent, is the merciful one, is the compassionate one. And there is no better place where mercy and compassion is needed than the womb of the mother. From the very initial stage of development, which is called the embryonic stage. There is no safer and better place that's in need than that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, شَقَقْتُ إِسْمَكْ مِنْ إِسْمِي, that I have derived your name, meaning the name of the womb, from my name. فَمَنْ وَصَلَكِ وَصَلْتُهُ وَمَنْ قَطَعَكِ قَطَعْتُهُ. So whoever maintains link to the womb, meaning their relationship, who maintains that link, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will maintain link with him. And whoever severs these links, natural links that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, like brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and aunts and uncles, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would sever relationship with them as well. Another ayah in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, رَبَّنَا وَسَعِتَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ رَحْمَةً وَعِلْمًا. That His mercy and knowledge encompasses everything. So when you think about the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what do you think of? How merciful He could be? Can you imagine the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I want to give you an example of that. Is that if you were to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful, if you say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful, what do you think of? Yes? Good. If you were to repeat yourself, to say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful, He is merciful, He is merciful, He is merciful, He is merciful. I know you might think I'm going crazy, but if you kept on repeating that, what kind of thought comes to your mind? Yeah? He is full of mercy. Say merciful. He's merciful. He is merciful. He is merciful. Bismillahir Rahmanir Raheem is repeated 114 times in the Quran. So imagine if you were to just sit by yourself and to say Bismillahir Rahmanir Raheem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Raheem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Raheem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Raheem. Go through that for 114 times and tell me what thoughts go through your mind in terms of the mercy, rahmah, and compassion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is He trying to say to us? He's trying to say that His mercy extends beyond your imagination. That's the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says in the Quran, وَرَحْمَتِي وَسِعَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. That my mercy supersedes any other thing. وَسِعَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. Spreads in everything. Supersedes everything. وَرَحْمَتِي. So when you think about His punishment, when you think about His Hakim, that He is the Hakim, His Hikmah, His Qudra, His power, His wisdom, His might, He's saying, وَرَحْمَتِي وَسِعَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. That my rahmah overtakes every other thing. Even another verse in the Quran, He reminds us that in terms of His mercy and rahmah, كَتَبَ رَبُّكَ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ الرَّحْمَةِ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala imprinted rahmah on Himself. كَتَبَ رَبُّكَ. That your master wrote or inscribed. كَتَبَ رَبُّكُمْ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ الرَّحْمَةِ. He inscribed rahmah upon Himself. This is part of the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I just want to bring to you one of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that says, جَعَلَ اللَّهُ رَحْمَةً مِئَةَ جُزْءٍ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has divided His rahmah into 100 parts, 100 segments. When you look around the world today, do you see the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do you think you've seen it? Do you see the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in yourself? Do you see the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in others? Do you see the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in those who reject Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do they have the mercy? Of course they do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah, He has given us the sun. From the sun we can have multiple benefits, including vitamin D. When the sun is out, is there a specific instruction to say only the Muslims can enjoy the benefits of the sun, but the non-Muslims are not allowed to enjoy the benefits of the sun? No. When the moon is out, is there a specific instruction to say that only Muslims can enjoy the benefits of the moon and the non-Muslims are not allowed to? No. When the night is there for us to rest, is it there designed only for Muslims and not for non-Muslims? Or designed only for Muslims and not for those who reject Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No. It's a rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has given to us. Whether you're Muslims or non-Muslims, we still enjoy the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We still enjoy the benefits that He has established for us in a natural process. So even those who reject Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they still enjoy the benefits of His rahmah. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, جَعَلَ اللَّهُ رَحْمَةً مِئَةَ جُزْءٍ. That rahmah is divided into 100 parts. فَأَمْسَكَ عِنْدَهُ 99 رَحْمَةً. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala withholds 99 portions of His rahmah. What does He do? He withholds 99% of His rahmah. وَأَنزَلَ فِي الْأَرْضِ جُزْءًا وَاحِدًا. And He sends down only 1% of His rahmah. And you can still see the 1% of the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even the rejectors of faith enjoy that. So the Prophet ﷺ is reminding us that the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is vast and wide. The rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in the vastness of His rahmah, there's only 1% that we are enjoying now. Only 1%. 99% is reserved for Yawm al-Qiyamah, in the Akhirah. فَمِنْ ذَلِكَ الْجُزْء. And part of that 1% rahmah, تَتَرَاحُمُ الْخَلَائِقِ, is when creations are showing rahmah to each other. And it refers even to an animal, a wild beast. حَتَّى تَرْفَعُ الدَّابَةُ حَافِرَهَا عَنْ وَلَدِهَا خَشْيَةً أَنْ تُصِيبَهُ. That even a wild beast that would lift one of his legs just to show mercy upon the young ones, not to smash and to destroy the young ones. That is an act of rahmah that is directly related to the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you can see how vast the rahmah is. Come back to the words now. Ar-Rahman Ar-Raheem. What is meant? Ar-Rahman refers to the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that contains huduth wa tajaddud wa imtila. Meaning that is something that happens again and again, but it's not continuous. It happens again and again. For example, we have atshan. When somebody is thirsty, has the same pattern, like fa'alan, rahman, jaw'an, atshan. All these formations, they have a similar meaning. Atshan refers to somebody when it's thirsty. Jaw'an when somebody is hungry. But you're not hungry all the time. When you have some food, you're not hungry anymore. Atshan, you're thirsty. You can thirsty for a long period of time, but as soon as you have some drink, it goes away. Isn't it? The thirst goes away. The hunger goes away. But qualities like Ar-Rahim, like Tawil, if I say, this brother is Tawil, is long, is tall, Tawil is tall, Kareem, he is generous, it means it's a static position. It means it happens all the time, it's continuous. Because he's tall now, will he get short tomorrow? You think so? No, he's not going to get short tomorrow. Tawil means static. He will always be tall. It's the same thing like Kareem. Kareem means he's generous. It's not used for a person who's generous once upon a time. but someone who is generous continuously, or most of his life, when it refers to human being. So even the pattern that the words are used, Ar-Rahman, she goes up. So it will be merciful, but then it's not going to be there all the time. Ar-Raheem, Al-Kareem, Al-Fa'il, Al-Sami', Al-Basir. You see, they all take the same pattern. Even the song, in the phonetics of the word, it indicates continuity, continuously. So that's the difference when we talk about Ar-Rahman, Ar-Raheem. So Ar-Rahman will be applicable even to non-Muslims in this world. But will they have mercy in the Akhirah? The believers, they would have Allah's mercy in this world, but they would also have it in the Akhirah. The disbelievers, they would have the Rahmah in this world, but in the Akhirah, they have to be prepared for something else. That is, Azab an-Nar. So that's the difference between those two words. I just want to move on quickly to some of the other ayah, just to touch on some of those important aspects. We have talked about Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Raheem. I guess we understand those two ayat now, to some extent. We can't get into details with the other ayat, but we can touch on some of the other aspects. Like Maliki Yawmiddin. You know, there are some people who recite Maliki Yawmiddin, and some people who recite Maliki Yawmiddin. You know those two qira'ah? One is Hafs and one is Warsh. Which one is correct? Both. Both of them are correct. But if one says Maliki Yawmiddin, it literally means that he possesses Yawmuddin. We can't even get into Yawmuddin today. But it indicates a possessor, owns, ownership. Maliki Yawmiddin. When you say Maliki Yawmiddin, it refers to authority. That's the king. He owns it. Authority. That's it. There are many kings that they are in authority, but they don't own people's houses or own everything. And there are people who own things, but they're not the king. They haven't got the authority. I give an example. You know, in this country, you own your house, don't you? Can you do whatever you feel like to do in your house? If you want to, it's your house. Could you not do an extension? You know, get some carpenters in and you build an extension, 2-3 rooms into your garden. Can you not do it? It's your house, it's your yard. No, you've got ownership, but you haven't got authority. See? It's yours, but you haven't got authority. You can't do that until you go through the council. And you get authority that, yes, you can do it now. And when you get the permission from the local council, then you can actually extend your house. That's what is meant by authority and ownership. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Yawm al-Qiyamah, which one will it be? Both. That is why both qira'ah are correct. That even when it is recited according to Hafs or Warsh, both of them are correct, because he is the Malik and he is the Malik. Yawmuddin. See how beautiful the Quran is? That if you recite a different way, it connotes the same meaning or similar meaning or different aspects of the same meaning. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said Maliki Yawmiddin or Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een. I just want to put a few emphasis on this ayah, and then we touch on the next ayah and we would stop there. Because I know you're going to fall asleep. Some of you are already sleeping. He's probably very tired. Don't know how much work you're giving to him, but don't give him too much work. He is getting very exhausted. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een. What does that ayah mean? What do you mean? You I worship, and you. You know, in Arabic that is not correct to say. You know that. Yeah, in Arabic you don't say that. You say na'buduka in Arabic, and nasta'inuka means we worship you and we ask you for help. That's the correct way to say it in Arabic. But this is, the expression in the Quran is beyond that. Because what is saying something different. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not saying that we worship you and we ask you to help. No, this is not what he's saying. He used iyaka. Remember I was giving you the sentences before? Like, I went to the shop yesterday. Remember the sentence? This is a similar one. But whatever comes first in the sentence is where you have the emphasis. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, iyaka, meaning you. You alone do we worship. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een. You are the only one that we worship. And you are the only one that we ask for help. Can we understand that? It is not that we worship you and we ask you for help. The iyaka indicates what they call in Arabic hasb or ikhtisas or takhsis. It refers to exclusivity. It is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we ask for help. That's what he's saying. Iyaka na'budu. Does it mean that, what does it mean if you're only asking him for help? What does it mean? You can't ask any other person for help. You can't ask any other person for assistance. You can't worship any other thing. You can't worship any other ideology. You have to exclude all of those. And this is what is referred to as Tawheed Uluhiyya or Tawheed Ibadah. Make sense? Ar-Rahman And Ar-Raheem is part of Asma'i wa Sifati. When we talk about Rabbul Alameen, it refers to as part of Tawheed Rububiyyah. So you can see you have the whole of Tawheed in one surah. Surah Al-Fatiha is like the summary of the whole Quran. If you analyze each ayah and each word, it's like a summary of the whole Quran. So the next verse that I want to touch on briefly and then we stop inshallah. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. What does it mean? What do you ask? What do you ask for? Are you a Muslim? Are you not on the straight path? Ask Allah to keep us in the straight path. Good. This is very, very important to understand. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. And this is a question that would pop up to any rational mind. That we are already Muslims. We're supposed to be in the straight path. And we're still asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance. Isn't it? Coming to Oxford today, it wasn't easy, unless, you have a GPS or you have a TomTom or you have somebody to direct you. Isn't it? Getting here. One of it is that I can text my brother, Ahmed, and he can give me direction. He gives me some guidance on the text. I can look at the text and I follow the text. But following the text, I can still get lost. Isn't it? So maybe on my way through, I might text him again. So he might want to guide me. Or seeing that he's a generous brother, he might send down one of the brothers, can you go meet those brothers down there, 20 miles down the road? Because they're probably getting lost. So they're going to join us there and they're going to direct us. Step by step. How are we going to reach to Oxford? So you see, the first instance is when you have no knowledge of it whatsoever. So then you get some guidance. So you come into it. The second step is that you need some specific guidance to follow that path continuously. And the third bit is that you have to reach the goal. So we are talking about not only just entering into the path, but you're talking entering into the path, staying on that path, and reaching the goal, the ultimate goal. You see in Arabic, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word ihdi or huda, and when it's followed by ilah, it means that this person was in a state of loss or disarray. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought him into guidance. And when the same word Hada is used with li. It indicates, it takes the person to the goal itself. That throughout the journey, the person has got guidance, step by step, until the person reaches the goal. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word hada in Surah Al-Fatiha, it didn't use it with the li, nor did he use it with the ila, nor did he use it with bi. He says, ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. That guide us on the straight path. The meaning of that is that it entails the meaning of the li, it entails the meaning of the ila, and it entails the meaning even of the bi. These are the prepositions that follow the word hada. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. So that is why we need to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every day, at least 17 times a day. Not to bring us into Islam, that's not what it means, but to keep us steadfast. To keep us there within this path until we reach the final goal. And what is the final goal? Jannatul Firdaus. That is the final goal. So we continuously need the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want to pause there because I want to keep on talking more about the surah. There are many more things we can say. But he said when he came to Islam, he was so scared to accept Islam or even to read the Quran. He said, oh, this is a book of terrorists. Why should I go and read the Quran? Maybe if I read it, I'll be misguided. So before he went to read the Quran, he said, look, the first thing I'm going to ask my master for, my Lord, is that I want him to give me some guidance. So do, Lord, give me some guidance. But the ironic thing is that the first chapter he opened and he read, what is it asking about? Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. It's asking that my master to guide me through to the right path. The very first thing. And that was amazing. The exact thought that he had in mind, the exact thing that he wanted from the master, is right in front of his eyes in the first surah of the Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding of his words. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding of his ayat, the miraculous revelation from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and help us to follow, to understand, to follow, and to share it with our brothers and sisters, to understand that these words are not words from man, they are words from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A very good example of that, just to conclude with, is this word in the Quran, sirat. Sirat, that refers to a path. There are many other words Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have used. He could have used sabil. He could have used tariq. They all means path. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is choosing to use the word sirat. And the amazing thing, that sirat has got two plurals. But none of those plurals were used in the Quran. Because the Quran is very specific to say sirat is only one path. And that is being used only in the singular form throughout the Quran. And that's what makes the Quran amazing. The consistency of information, the consistency of hikmah. And it comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding, help us to understand His words so that we can implement it in our life. So eventually we can have Jannat al-Firdaus. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم أجمعين. It's time for question and answer. So any questions that you have, you can put them forward to us, inshallah.